Saurabh Shukla, and today we are going to start with the chapter The Sound of Music, Part 1. It's about Evelyn Glennie, the world famous percussionist. Children, we face challenges in our lives, and many of us run away from challenges. We provide reasons that they're too difficult to overcome. But challenges test our ability, whether we have that in us to be victorious. And Evelyn Glennie not only faced a physical challenge, but also she has to face the challenges of society. And she is a shining example of what we can do if we overcome these challenges, determine ourselves, and move ahead. This story of Evelyn Glennie is written by Deborah Cowley. Deborah Cowley interviewed Evelyn Glennie and asked from her that what were the challenges that she faced and how did she become the most sought after master percussionist. Well, now let's discuss the title. The title itself is very interesting. Here the author says that Evelyn Glennie listens to the sound of the music, and Evelyn Glennie listens to the sound, and we all wonder, how can she do it? How can we listen to a sound without not hearing it? So this is something we will discover, that how Evelyn Glennie was able to listen to sound although she could not hear. Now before we proceed with the chapter, let us see what the master percussionist Professor James Blade said about Evelyn Glennie. He said that God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. He says that although God took away her hearing power, she was impaired, but in return, he gave her an extraordinary thing, that was the sense of feeling. She could feel very deeply, far more deeply than the normal people, and that is why she was able to express music so beautifully, so well. She is a well-known multi-percussionist. She plays different percussion instruments like xylophone, drums, etc. Now from here we come to know that the theme of the story and the message we get from the story. The story of Evelyn Glennie is a motivational story. It inspires all of us to overcome our physical disabilities and achieve our dreams and goals, just like Evelyn did. Let's start with the chapter, paragraph wise. I shall read it for you. Rush hour crowds jostled for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. It was her first day at prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. The scene is of the train platform. It is underground, and there is a huge rush at the platform. People are pushing each other to get away. There is a small, thin girl. It is Evelyn. Evelyn is standing at the railway platform waiting for the train. And just as she feels the vibrations of the approaching train, she realizes that the train is about to come. She gets nervous and excited. This is the train that will take Evelyn to London. She is going to London to learn music as she has got admission in the Royal Academy of Music. Right now, Evelyn is in Scotland. Evelyn belongs to Scotland. Scotland is a country in Europe. Life in Scotland is not as fast as London. London has a very fast life. It is urban, whereas Scotland has farms and countryside. Countryside means villages. So that is why Evelyn is nervous, because she is leaving Scotland for London. And she's excited also because she is doing something that she always dreamt of. She is going to the Royal Academy of Music to learn music. Move on. Evelyn is 17 years of age. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glennie. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers. But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. Well, Evelyn is 17 years of age. She's a teenager and she is fresh from Scottish farm. As Evelyn is from Scotland, which has more of farms and countryside, so she has not seen fast life. That is why she is nervous, and the writer says that she is fresh from a Scottish farm. Evelyn could not hear, and this was a bigger challenge for her. So let's see how she overcomes the challenge. Isabel Glennie is the name of Evelyn's mother. Evelyn's mother, Isabel, recollects one incident when Evelyn was 8 years old. She says that Evelyn was waiting for her turn to play the piano, but when her name was called out, she did not respond. And her mother realized that Evelyn did not respond to her name. That means she did not hear the name being called out. As Evelyn lost her sense of hearing in phases, it was a gradual process. In the beginning, when she could hear partially, she managed to hide this disability from her friends and teachers. When Evelyn was 11 years old, her marks started to turn bad. She did not score well. The headmistress requested her parents to take Evelyn to a doctor for consultation. And when the doctor checked upon Evelyn, he found that Evelyn had lost the sense of hearing. Too bad, isn't it? 11 years old, lost her sense of hearing completely. Poor child. The doctor advised Evelyn's parents that they should get hearing aids for her. Now, hearing aid is an equipment that is fitted into your ear, and it helps a person to hear to some extent. He also suggested that Evelyn should be sent to school for the deaf children. When Evelyn found out that she could not hear, that she would be sent to a school for deaf children, that she was not as good as normal children, her world became colorless. It turned black. Now, what does this mean? Everything suddenly looked black. It means that all of a sudden, you get such bad news. You get some news that you don't expect, and in return, you see blackness all around you. It's like a shock that you get. And Evelyn also got that shock. Evelyn was not going to give up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. Well, this shows that Evelyn had determination. Although Evelyn got such a shocking news, still she was determined and she did not want to give up. As Evelyn was passionate about music, this news also did not break her. She was determined to live life like normal people and follow her interest in music. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. Most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. He began by tuning two large drums to different notes. "Don't listen through your ears," he would say. "Try to sense it some other way," says Evelyn. Suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. Forbes repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. Well, when most of the teachers discouraged uh, Evelyn, it was Ron Forbes who actually spotted the potential in her to be a great percussionist, to be a great musician. So he encouraged Evelyn Glennie, right? But Ron Forbes, he had seen Evelyn was very passionate and very dedicated. Ron Forbes thought that he would teach Evelyn to feel music. He took two large drums and he turned them to different notes. Drums are musical instruments, and he tuned them. He tuned each drum to different notes, so the sound produced by drums was different. So it was distinct. Both the drums made different sounds. And then he told Evelyn that don't listen to through your ears. Instead, try to sense it. Try to feel the music some other way. So now as Ron had tuned both the drums to different notes, the upper part of Evelyn's body above the waist could feel the higher notes of the drum, and the lower part of her body, the part down from the waist, could feel the lower notes of drum. This is how Evelyn can listen to sound although she could not hear. She can sense different notes in different parts of her body. Ron Forbes taught Evelyn to respond to different sounds. And different parts of Evelyn's body responded to different sounds, and that is how she could identify the sounds and the different vibrations. Now, once she could identify the sounds and vibrations, the hurdle had been overcome and Evelyn's career went upward, as she had determination to become famous, a good musician, and she also did a lot of hard work. Back from that point onwards. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. At the end of a 3-year-old course, she had captured most of the top awards. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. If you work hard and you know where you're going, you'll get there. And she got right to the top and the world's most sought-after multi-percussionist with a mastery of some 1,000 instruments and a hectic international schedule. Let us understand these two paragraphs. Once Evelyn overcame the hurdle, she started sensing the different sounds through the different parts of her body, and she progressed in her career. So Evelyn toured the United Kingdom and performed with a youth orchestra. By the time Evelyn reached the age of 16 years, she had decided to make music her life. Evelyn gave an audition for the admission to the Royal Academy of Music, and her score was the highest in the history of the Academy. No other person had scored such a high score as Evelyn did. So initially, Evelyn performed in a group, and as she got well in her music, as she got confident, she started performing alone. She had achieved all the top awards by the time she had completed her 3-year course at the Royal Academy of Music. If anyone says that Evelyn has done something great, she does not acknowledge that. She's very humble and down to earth. Evelyn says that two important things for successes are, firstly, hard work, and secondly, aim. She says if you work hard and you have an aim, a target which you have to achieve, then you will definitely achieve it. So Evelyn also achieved her goal. She worked hard and she had an aim to become the topmost, the most famous, the most sought after musician of the world, and she did that. She gained mastery of almost 1,000 musical instruments. Would you believe that? And she is the most popular multi-percussionist of the world. She has a very busy schedule. She has programs and concerts all over the world. Isn't this great? Right? Let's move on. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly, without hearing. In our 2 hours discussion, she never missed a word. Men with bushy beards gave me troubles, she laughed. It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face, especially the eyes. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. My speech is clear because I could hear it till I was 11, she says. But that doesn't explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese. Now the writer Deborah Cowley took Evelyn's interview, which lasted for 2 hours, and Deborah says that Evelyn never missed a single word that she spoke. This is simply amazing. Evelyn says that those men who have long, huge bushy beards give her trouble. Why do they give her trouble? Because when they speak, she cannot see their lip movement, and their lips are covered with bushy beards. Evelyn says that she does not only see the lip movement of the person's face to make out what the person is speaking. She sees the whole face, that means the entire expression of the face of the speaker makes Evelyn identify or know what the person is saying. She adds the expression of the eyes helps Evelyn make out what the person sitting in front of her is saying. The writer says that Evelyn's speech is flawless, and she has a Scottish accent. Remember, she belongs to Scotland. Evelyn says that she can speak clearly because she had learned the language she studied till the age of 11. Till that time, she could only hear. But after becoming deaf, Evelyn also learned 2 new languages. She has learned French and basic Japanese. So one wonders that how could she learn these 2 new languages, also despite her deafness? This is indeed strange. As for music, she explains, it pours it in through her every part of my body. It tingles in the skin, my cheekbones, and even in my hair. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. By leaning against the drum, she can feel the resonances following into her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibrations pass through her bare feet and up her legs. So here Evelyn explains that how does she identify music? It creates sensation in her skin, in her cheekbones, and even in her hair. So every part of Evelyn's body responds to music. When she plays the xylophone, she uses sticks and she can sense the vibration of the sound produced by the xylophone pass through the sticks up into her fingertips. When Evelyn plays the drum, she leans towards the drum and she can feel the echo flowing into her body. Whenever Evelyn performs, she performs on a wooden platform. She removes her shoes so that she can feel the vibrations of the musical instruments pass through the floor, into her feet and up her legs. That is how she can feel the sound of the musical instruments. This is indeed amazing. Number 8. Not surprisingly, Evelyn delights her audiences. In 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. Says master percussionist James Blades, God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. Now, Evelyn is a delight to hear, isn't she? She gives a very good solo performances. In the year 1991, she was presented with this award, the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award for performing solo. Now, James Blade is a master percussionist, and his words were the ones that we read before we started the chapter, remember? According to James, God took away Evelyn's hearing ability, but in return, compensated her with a strong power of sensing sounds, which enabled her to become a great musician. Evelyn is very hardworking. She does not stop working. Something of a workaholic. Workaholic means a person who finds it difficult to stop working. I've just got to work, often harder than classical musicians, but the rewards are enormous. Apart from regular concerts, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. Anne Ricklin of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says, she's a shining inspiration for deaf children. They see that there is nowhere that they can go. Well, Evelyn is very hardworking, as I've already told you. She never stops working. Now, to be at par with those people who can hear, who are classical musicians, Evelyn has to work very hard, remember? She is deaf, isn't she? Evelyn says that the rewards she gets for her hard work are huge and big. Evelyn does charity also, and we'll get to know how she does that. One thing that Anne Ricklin of Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says that Evelyn is a great source of inspiration, especially for the deaf children. Now they have got a mentor, an idol that they can look up to. And if Evelyn, in spite of her deafness, can achieve dazzling heights of success, why can't they? Evelyn Glennie has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra and demonstrated that it can be done in a very moving way. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. Evelyn Glennie also takes classes for young musicians, for those children who want to learn music. She believes in charity. She gives free concerts in hospitals and prisons. Evelyn is an inspiration for everyone. There's no one who is not inspired by what Evelyn has achieved in spite of her physical disability. Evelyn's story is an inspiration to those people who are physically disabled. They feel that if Evelyn can achieve her dreams, even they can. And Evelyn has given a lot of pleasure to her audience by playing such a wonderful music. So children, today we have learned this chapter, which is so inspiring, which is so amazing. It tells us that God gives us hardships to test whether we have in us to realize our potential and rise to the challenges and become what we want to and finally realize our dreams. So never be shy away from challenges, never run away from them. If Evelyn can, so can every one of us. Now we are moving to the last phase of this chapter, some question time. Now you can go through this video again if you want to and try finding answers to these questions. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. We meet again, signing off, Saurabh Shukla for Sir Padampat Singhania Education Center.